Hey, I'm Chris Cooper. I'm the founder of Two Brain Business, and today I'm going to give you my 4 hard-won rules for getting and keeping excellent staff. Over the years, it's been almost 20 now since I opened up my first gym, and I've had several businesses along the way. I've had more than 100 staff worldwide, and at some points, I've even had up to 70 people working for me at one time. All of these lessons that I'm about to share with you were painful, and that made them stick, but that didn't mean that I didn't make them more than once. So if you've made these mistakes in the past, it's okay. You're forgiven. Just try not to make them anymore. So here are the 4 hard-won rules that I now have for recruiting and keeping staff long-term. Rule number 1, tell them what you want them to do in advance instead of punishing them for making the wrong choice later. So a lot of us entrepreneurs, we're really hardworking, right? And we have a picture in our head of what should be done. And if we screw something up when we're delivering our product, we correct and we say, well, I'm never doing that again. But then we bring our staff in and we mistakenly believe that all the stuff that we know and all the stuff that we've learned is just common sense. We think that they must already be at our level of knowledge, and so they must already know the stuff that we know. And so here's what we do. We say, okay, well, you did your certification on the weekend. You know how to coach a group class. Go to it. Let's see you do it just like I would do it. And then they start the class 3 minutes late. And then there's a lot of chatter in the class. And then not everybody gets personal attention. And you watch this class and you're like, wow, this guy is not a good coach. He's not even close to me. But of course he's not, because you haven't told him what to do. And so you approach him after class and you're like, dude, I don't know, that wasn't great. It was maybe a C+, you started late. And then the employee has to learn from that. Okay, Chris told me I started late, and he told me there was too much chatter, and he told me that I didn't give enough one-on-one attention. Okay, next class is starting. All right, start on time, right? Got it. Okay, I'm gonna start on time. Starts on time. And then of course he doesn't correct everything else, and you're watching him and you're like, man, I told him he's gotta give everybody one-on-one attention. He doesn't do it. What the hell's wrong with this guy? And then, so you approach him again. You're like, dude, are you not listening to me? Okay, yeah, you started on time, but you're still not giving people one-on-one attention. I'm going to take your next class for you, and you watch me. So he watches you, and you start on time, and you are cautiously giving everybody one-on-one attention, and there's no chit-chat in your group. And so you go back to the coach and you say, okay, you got that? You understand now? Yep, I got it, Chris, got it. I'm going to do it. They coach the next class. Starts on time. Everybody gets one-on-one attention, but there's a lot of chatter, and the class is kind of chaotic. And oh yeah, it ends 10 minutes early. And so now you're like, man, this coach is just getting worse. What am I doing wrong? He's not a good fit. I'm going to find somebody else. The reality is that working with staff is sometimes like working with your kids and trying to help them improve. And in both cases, you're way better off telling them what you want done in advance instead of letting them guess and then trying to correct them after the fact. So my first hard-won rule is to tell people exactly what you want done and exactly how you do it. Don't leave any gaps. Get it all out of your head and write it down step by step. And the bonus here is that you'll be more consistent and probably do a better job yourself once you get the process out of your head. That includes coaching classes, but it also includes how to open up the gym in the morning, how to charge somebody for a membership, what to do if somebody just calls up the gym and asks for information. All of these things should be thoroughly documented out of your head so that you can tell people what to do instead of making them guess and then punishing them for guessing wrong later. My hard-won rule for staff number 2 is hire for the job you want done instead of just promoting the people that you have, because the people who got you here might not be the ones who get you there. For example, it is very common in the micro gym industry for owners to find a little bit of success and then say, I'm going to hire a general manager to run this for me, or I'm going to hire a general manager to grow this for me. And so they identify somebody that's a really, really good coach, okay? They've got this coach who's enthusiastic about coaching their method, be it CrossFit or Pilates or whatever. They're such a good coach, and they've got their level 3 certification. I'm going to promote them to manager so that they can make this their full-time job. One little problem, the person has no experience, knowledge, and maybe not even the desire to manage other humans. And so you pop them into this managerial role. And on day one, it's like set the schedule for your staff. And they're like, oh, okay, I don't really know how to do this. I guess I'll just text everybody and, okay, they're going to get back to me. And then the schedule is not set. And then you say something like, hey, make sure that we always got supplies for the bathrooms. And you're like, okay, I like coaching, but like, where do I get the toilet paper from? And hey, there's no money in the till. Where do I go to get more whiteboard markers? Or how do I know when it's time to replace the whiteboard markers? Or how do I know like what to do when somebody's credit card payment doesn't go through? And how do I do these goal reviews, right? Like they have no training, no experience, and possibly no skill set for this new role that you're putting them in. I blame the industrial economy that our parents went through, where just showing up over time got you promoted to higher and higher levels until you reached the limit of your competence and you just sat there for the next 40 years until you retired at age 65. You have to hire based on merit. So let's say that you have a coach in your gym, she's doing 20 hours a week, she's amazing, and you want to make a full-time job for her. You're still better off to write down exactly what the role is and have people apply for the role, including her. And if she can do the role better than anybody else, then you hire her. Now, I'm going to make a point here that like these are unicorns, people who can ascend from being a really, really good coach to managing a business or running a business. These are rare, like less than 10% of people. Think about all the things that you had to learn when you went from being a fitness trainer to owning your own gym. And we're going to expect other people to come in and they already know that stuff, right? As if all the lessons that you've learned, you just put them on a hard drive and you handed it off and they uploaded that and now they know it too. It doesn't happen. Moreover, a lot of people are in the fitness industry because they don't want to manage other people. And so you need to hire for the role you need instead of looking at the people you have and saying who can do this work or who has the extra time. Another great example is sales. So most gym owners ascend from doing everything to doing only high value frontline activities like coaching and personal training and nutrition to then ascending into doing the sales and marketing for their gym. It's a process that we call the value ladder, right? And they can keep coaching if they want to, yada, yada. But what happens here is they have to gain a new skill set at every step. And so when you say, okay, well, I want to make this person full-time, she's awesome, and she has an extra 10 hours a week, what could she do? She could take over social media. But you don't know if she's even good at social media. And if you're not good at it yourself, you don't know how to teach her. Like you have to be able to mentor this person, but you have to start with the right person for the job. So my second hard one rule is hire for the job you want instead of just promoting the people that you have. As much as you want to keep your buddies around and give them better work and more money, the reality is you're not helping anybody if you put the wrong person in a role that's not a good fit for them. They're going to fail. Your business is going to struggle because of it, and you're probably going to end your friendship. My third hard-won rule for staffing is don't incentivize them for things that are beyond their control. I'll give you the most common example here. A gym owner says, I want to share the wealth, or I want help growing this gym, or I want to spread the responsibility around so it's not all on me. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to hire a GM and I'm going to give her a share of the upside. So for every new client that we get, you're going to get a $5 a month raise. Or every time we hit a revenue, goal or a new threshold, you're going to get a percentage of that. Our gym is breaking even right now. I'm making a little bit of money. Not enough, not too much, but I'm going to make a little bit, and so I'm going to put you in charge of growth. So, if our gym hits these targets, $20,000 a month, I'm going to give you a raise of $1,000 a month. Now, that sounds great to the coach, right? The person that's being promoted. But here's the problem. If you ask that person, how will we reach that target? They would say, I don't know, showing up and coaching better, getting people results? I don't know. They don't have what you have for knowledge. They also don't control the things that will actually grow the gym. In fact, there's really nothing that they can do to influence that outcome. They can't control whether they're going to make that target or not. They're incentivized to do the wrong things, or they're not incentivized to do the right things. For example, if you say to your coaches, hey guys, if we do $20,000 in revenue this month, everybody's getting a $500 bonus. They're going to get excited about that, but they have no way to control that outcome. Maybe you can coach them on how to get referrals. Great, okay, and some will do it and some won't, and everybody will either benefit or they won't. So there's two ways this goes. Number one, you hit the target. Most of the time you've hit the target because of momentum that you've created, or because of the momentum that one person in the gym has created, or you were just going to get there anyway. You know, maybe the entire world economy improved and that's why you hit that target. It's not because of anything that your coaching staff did differently. But great, you're happy, you're fed, they're making a bit more money. Awesome. Until the next month. And now you say, hey guys, if we hit $22,000 a month, I'm going to give you another $500 bonus. And they're like, great, we did it before, we can do it again. But they don't know what they did before. And so next time when they fail, they think, oh geez, what did we do wrong? And of course they're going to look at you because they're doing the same thing that they've always done. It just didn't provide the outcome that they wanted this time. The second thing that can happen is it doesn't work, right? And so now you're saying to somebody, hey, if we hit $20,000 a month, I can afford to pay you $500 more per month. And they're like, okay, well, you know, I'm kind of living on ramen noodles and stolen protein powder right now. I really need that 500. I'm all in though. I love this gym. Like, I'll coach my best. So they go out there and they coach their best and they show up earlier and they do extra little things around the gym. They want to do everything they know that can make the gym successful, but it's your responsibility to grow the gym and the gym doesn't grow. Now what? They've done everything they know to do to the best of their abilities. They're still not making enough money and they have to think like, wow, maybe Chris can't grow this gym. Maybe I'm always going to be stuck here. The frustration of not knowing how to control their own outcomes is what makes incentivizing things they can't control a really, really bad idea. Now, you can incentivize the things that they can control. So, for example, you can pay them a percentage of what they draw in personal training, or a percentage of what they draw in nutrition. We have formulas for this. We have frameworks for this in our mentorship program. The bottom line, though, is like, their incentive to do a no sweat intro is that they get the client, right? That's a direct incentive that they can control the outcome and benefit from that outcome. If you're just paying them like $10 an hour to do no sweat intros, there is no incentive for them to close. They might not need an incentive. If you're giving them a reward or an incentive for the overall performance of the gym, that's a bad incentive because they cannot directly control the outcome. Win or lose, it's going to be a frustrating experience for them. All right, so that's my third hard-won rule for staffing is don't incentivize things that they can't control themselves. My fourth hard-won rule for staff is don't hire full-time staff until you're making a full-time wage yourself. Most micro gyms are an owner-operator business. That means it's set up to provide mostly for the one person doing the job. They've really bought themselves a job in opening this gym, right? They're more self-employed than they are a business person yet. Until they reach that point where the business is paying them a good wage, they should not be hiring other people, because what you're doing is you're taking the risk for another person on top of the risk that you're willing to take yourself. And this can backfire. First off, if you don't know how to earn enough money to pay yourself a good wage, you're probably not going to automatically know how to make enough money to pay them a good wage. And that means that their commitment to you is misplaced. Second, if you're not making good money right now, but you're able to pay somebody else decent money, their career is still in jeopardy because, like, if you're not eating, why would you keep the gym? I've actually seen this happen. The gym owner is making, $60,000 a year. They're doing okay. They're paying the bills. They hire somebody in full time at $40,000 and they're like, I'm all in. I'm hiring this person. We're going to grow the gym. And then the gym doesn't grow and there's not enough money to pay both. as a generous, caring gym owner, you say, I got to do something else. And so the gym owner leaves, gets a job selling real estate, and now the only full-time person in the business is this salaried person who doesn't have the owner's drive or knowledge or commitment to actually growing the gym. And this is usually the start of a downward spiral. Hiring somebody full-time is an amazing gift to them. And it can help your gym long term because you've got a committed staff person who doesn't have to think about their other job, right? They're not exhausted because they're not working at a call center at night. They're only thinking about growing your gym when they're thinking about their work, right? Not thinking about their work all the time. But if you're not making a full-time wage first, then it's a sign that you don't know how to pay somebody a full-time wage with your business. And believing that hiring somebody full-time is going to magically create the revenue to support that person without a plan is a false one. And it can actually tank your gym. So, should you hire people full-time? Absolutely, when the time is right. When is the time right? When you're making a full-time wage and you know how you're going to spend your time when you hire somebody full-time. Usually the first full-time hire in a gym setting is either a front-facing coach or somebody else that's like in charge of operations so that the owner can focus more on the growth, like the sales and marketing of the gym. The other full-time hire might be a sales and marketing person, but that is extremely rare. Like less than 5% of gyms have that person. They're usually commission-based, and unfortunately there's a very high churn rate there. So, to recap, my 4 hard-won rules that I've learned by screwing this up many times, that I've seen other gyms, thousands of gyms screw up around the world, are these. First, tell them what you want them to do in advance instead of punishing them for doing it wrong later. Second, hire for the job you want done instead of just promoting the people that you have. Third, don't incentivize for things beyond their control. And fourth, don't hire full-time staff until you are making a full-time wage your staff. I hope that helps you. These are my 4 hard-won rules for hiring and keeping staff in your gym business. If this was helpful to you, please hit subscribe on this YouTube channel or subscribe to our podcast, and we'll keep producing stuff like this to help gym owners grow.